Good morning. This brought to my attention that this Anita Sarkeesian, which is the host of Feminist Frequency, she did a video a while back going about the whole tropes versus women in video games, pointing out how women was sexualized is in video games and been used as a tool to give men's appetite and that. And however, she was in attendance at the Vidcon convention over last week, which is a convention for YouTube creators to gather together and to meet other content creators and to have a talk and etc. However, some were appeared at the Sarkeesian panel, where Jarbo, known as mundanematt, was there to witness. Is there he did a response to what he saw, how it went down. Apparently, this Sargon of Akadd, which is a host that does sceptic videos and that. So he did quite an extensive amount of videos debunking the feminist theories and that, and which did include Sarkeesian briefly in that. However, he was sat in the front row, which Sarkeesian singled the guy out and called the guy a pile of garbage and whatever after a colourful expletive overtone and that, but which the event organisers at Vidcon didn't do nothing in order to quell the issue now, and which she did a article via her feminist frequency site explaining the nature of the problem. Is to kick off the woman online panel at VidCon last Thursday, the moderator posed the question, why do we still have to talk about the harassment of women? The question mark. I replied, because I think one of my biggest harassers is sitting in the front row, which is Sargon of Akadd. He showed up with several of others together, as you do at conventions, and that is you go to these talk panels and you sit down, and if you're lucky you can stand up and ask them burning questions through the keynotes and that. And their presence was plainly not, as one of them later said in an apology video. He posted to Twitter to give us the chance to, as we never give them, and to hear us out. But it was instead to intimidate me and put me on the edge. They will no doubt plead the innocent and act shocked at what they characterize as the outrageousness of such allegations. This, too, is part of their strategy, gaslighting, acting in a way intended to encourage me and their other targets to doubt ourselves and to wonder if all of this isn't just in our heads, but to anyone who examines their patterns of behavior with clear eyes and the attention of their actions are undeniably apparent. Then they continues there on to the continuing article. What she continue insinuated about the Sargon of Akkad. Carl is a man who literally profits from harassing me and the other women. He meets over 5,000 a month on Patreon for creating YouTube videos that mock and insult and discredit myself and other women online. And he's not alone. He is one of the several YouTubers who profit from the cottage industry of online harassment and anti-feminism. Together, these people have millions of followers who are regularly encouraged by the videos, tweets of these individuals to harass me and other women who make videos daring to assert the basic humanity of women, people of color, trans folks, and members of the other marginalized groups. Because of the constant flood of threats of harassment, I've received over the past 5 years simply for being a woman who argues for the basic humanity of women in a deeply misogynistic culture. I went for a very long time rarely participating in public conversations. Being a target of a cyber mob harassment is a traumatizing experience through harassers to seek to deny this. One tactic of theirs is to dismiss this very idea, to say that everyone online is treated the same. Everyone online gets the called the name. Sometimes, in fact, there is simply no comparison between being occasionally mocked or insulted online as a male anti-feminist who occupies a position of power in an overwhelmingly sexist patriarchal culture, and being a woman who receives a never-ending torrent of abuse while fighting tooth and nail to create an online culture that is a little less misogynistic and a little more equitable than that. And the last part of the whole debacle was, however, despite this the torrent of harassment, I recently made a conscious decision to participate more regularly on panels and conversations at public events because I wanted to engage with people who showed up in good faith to listen to our ideas. But let me make something very clear. When you have a history of harassing someone for years and you show up in the front row at the panel with a camera and an entourage, that is not an act of good faith, to put it mildly. That itself is an act of harassment and intimidation. He and his companions were doing this not just to me, but to other women as well. Women like Kat Black and Francesca Ramsey, so that we are all aware of Vidcon, that this man who has harassed us and whose hundreds of thousands of followers have attacked us online for years is here. Watching us it's a very deliberate act to create an environment that feels hostile to communicate to us is that if and when we dare to show up in public to express the ideas that we express online, harassment who will follow us into the physical world as well. Now he and his followers are acting as if me publicly calling him a garbage human is equivalent to he what has done to me. In truth, he and his followers cannot begin to imagine what it is to have to constantly beg for and fight for your basic humanity in a culture that is fundamentally refuses to acknowledge it. He cannot imagine what it is to spend years and years being the target of floods of harassment and hate, and then still go out there and keep fighting. The companion of his who made an apology, made that apology video I referenced earlier. Also, the tweeted that women are powerful enough to deal with things like workplace harassment to to some form of sexual abuse, as if power is in accepting the culture in which women are second-class citizens, in which misogyny and workplace harassment and are the norm. F that, I'm never settled for that. You're damn right, I'm powerful after everything I've been put through by Sargon of Akadd and other men just like him. I am still powerful enough to go out there and to try and change it. In short, what she's trying to explain that she's been through quite a lot of stuff due to her criticism in her series of versus women in video games, and some of these individuals trying to debunk her ethics and practices and that, and which led to the whole debacle of calling one of the people that's been hurtling abuse in a way to make money, and that on the line. And years ago, Sarkeesian appeared at one of these things, and she said everything's sexist, everything's racist, and so on and so on and so on, and you have to point it out and etc. It's like in the 70s, Maggie Thatcher did a speech where she said, you turn if you want to, and ladies are not for turning, and etc. Which is the whole transparency of the whole thing, which is quite interesting what Sarkeesian said here. It strikes to me that this woman is not afraid to speak her mind in that. It's like there's a quote in GoldenEye by Judi Dench's you're just a sexist, misogynistic dinosaur that's a relic of the Cold War and that's and etc. And there are all sorts of other stuff, and that the nature of the how she handled it could have done a bit better and etc. And yeah, I know that she's trying to go out to any lengths to making this great content. I've watched quite a few episodes of tropes versus women in video games, and that I found them quite entertaining. What she's trying to explain in a video series on the topic, and that which is which is quite in a right to do so. And however, Joe Vargas, known as Angry Joe, was also under heavy crossfire for defending her in his special of top 10 controversies in video games and etc. and such. And look what happened. He was subjugated to abuse 2 weeks on end. It's like last year, James Rolfe, known as the Angry Video Game Nerd, he gave a 6-minute reasoning why he should not go to see Paul Feig's Ghostbusters and do a review of it. And look what happened. He was attacked online media, and that by being called a misogynist and that. Look what happened then. It was a continuously battle between Paul Feig and Amy Pascal with the fans of the franchise and that who took a disliking to the trailers because the trailers did not turn out the well as they hoped. And every time somebody made a critique about them, that they got called a misogynistic pagan, etc. And now the whole debacle about Sargon of Akkad appearing in the front row at the Sarkeesian panel and that. And which Boogie himself didn't have a good time there because he suffers from anxiety issues and etc. I can't go into anything like that. And yeah, I find the whole thing astonishing, to say the least. And that's all I have to say on the matter. This is me, Frankie Croft Smales. Thank you for watching, and please follow me on Twitter at Frankie Smales. I'm on Facebook and Blogger, and there's a couple of other online media outlets. And thank you for watching wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, have a good day, be strong, and here to save the world, and fairly well.